Welcome back to Anime Critical. This week's topic is going to be about solo leveling, everything about Jinwoo himself, give you a little recap, and yeah, that's what we're going to do this week. We'll start it off, give you a good little rundown of the difference between this anime as compared to most when it comes to the written, not the written part of it. This one is not a manga; it's a manhwa. Q, would you like to share the differences between those two?
um, I had it pulled up. I didn't write it all the way down. But essentially it's just the way that you read it, and the manhwa is actually done in color instead of grayscale. Um, that's really the big two differences between manga and manhwa. Um,
Yeah, because in a manga, you would basically read it from right to left, as compared to the with a manhwa, you read it from left to right, or possibly vertically. It's read more of a comic book style with the manga art.
yes, and one
That's
is
the
actually
best.
Korean, the other one is Japanese.
Yes,
So
manhwa is a
solo level,
Korean.
yes, so
Yeah,
solo leveling is actually based on a Korean manhwa, not and a Japanese manga, which is still dope, still amazing. Uh, but yes, there is a difference. Um, so with that being said, let's get into uh the story of solo leveling. So I guess we have the character Jinwoo, um, supposed to be known as the weakest hunter in that world at that point in time. That's his title. I believe is the up until this point, or I believe in the show, he's the only E rank hunter that we've seen, or that's been mentioned, and they call him the mankind's weakest hunter. Um, and so then I guess um, he just plays mop up duty in the dungeons. Um, I
he's
wouldn't even
usually
consider him.
they use him more of like a backpack. He carries
Yeah,
around the equipment because he still has the superhuman strength. Because even as first off, we'll give you a quick rundown of the different classes. You start out at an E rank, which is considered the lowest of low ranks. It's extremely uncommon. But it is still considered to be much stronger than a average human. And then you get up to a B rank, which is quite a bit stronger as compared to, or not a B rank,
Delta.
a a D rank. Sorry.
Mm.
Once you get up to the D rank, they're quite a bit stronger. Usually, a more common. There's quite a few of them. Most people are in between C and D ranks. That's usually the average. A D rank is usually the ones that are taking the lower dungeon people with them to do the stuff. They're usually the backup. They're just that's the ones they're taking. And then you've got the C rankers, which are usually ones that are sent as the leaders of most groups to the lower end dungeons, which are usually the C gates and lower. C ranks are quite a bit stronger and usually the more common of the leaders in the groups. You don't usually have anyone that's going to be lower than that because you can't really go into a dungeon without a certain amount of C ranks.
Mm.
So after you get from the C rank, you get to the B rank. The B rank are considered to be extremely different from a C rank. It's widely different at that point. When you go from E to D, it's a decent difference. D to C is a pretty good difference, but C to B is a large gap. B rankers are usually the ones that are used as honestly office people at a certain point. You don't see a lot of B rankers going out after I think a few people. And then you get to the A rankers, which are usually the ones that are going to the bigger dungeons. They're the ones that are doing the dirty work. And then you get up to the S. The S is extremely different from the A's. The A's have a pretty good gap between B and A. But when you get to the S, it's a whole other league. Because after S, they don't really have a scale. It's S. Anything beyond that is just considered national level. There's no scaling after S. So
And
the
when you say
gaps are
national level,
extremely different.
it's they're equal to a country's military might. that their
Yes.
whole military.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know. No, they did go towards it, going towards the end. And they did explain it like initially going into the series, which is you don't get to raise your level. So whatever you are as a hunter, that's where you are. So if you're a sea level, then that's what you are. You don't get stronger. The only way that you can't go into dungeons and you fight and you're leveling up. Um, the only way for you to level up at that point is to have a second awakening, which they speak about going towards the end of the season. Um,
Well, they kind of mentioned it here and there once they realize an E ranker starts going through dungeons and not dying.
yeah,
It's like
no,
that's an immediate red flag for most of the guilds. They're like, that's not normal. How is he surviving these dungeons that so many higher rank people are dying in? Doesn't make
right,
sense. So they immediately start talking about a second awakening. And that is one of the rarest things possible. That's more
right,
rare than being awakened as an S.
yeah. So
Like
you don't,
that just don't happen.
right. So you don't get stronger, which brings us to Jinwoo, which makes him. That's what makes him special. Um, and he wants to get stronger, and the purpose of him getting stronger is, I believe, because of the world that they live in, and it has something to do. They haven't gone into deep detail about it yet. I think they will later on. But it has something to do with the magic that's in the world or whatever. That's causing his mom and like other people to be sick and to fall into a coma. And so
Yeah.
the whole purpose of him going into these dungeons is to earn money to be able to take care of him and his sister and to be able to pay for his mother's treatment. Um, and so with him being E, like I said, he's basically just a backpack, like you said. So he doesn't really get to earn that much money because he's not strong enough to go into the higher ranked dungeons. The dungeons are also ranked by class as well. Um, so he doesn't really get to go into those unless he gets to go with a strong group. Um, but with the Hunter Association, I want to say there's not many high level hunters. I think the most of the high level hunters are private. They're in the private sector, so they're with the guilds because they make more money in the private sector as opposed to the Hunter Association. Um, so he doesn't really doesn't get the bank that he needs or that he wants, but uh, he still tries, still goes out there, doesn't make much money, gets what he can gets. Um, so yeah. Um, then we roll into that. Then you get I want to say it happened in the first episode, right? Or going towards the end of the first episode, where uh the group they go into a dungeon, they end up finding a side dungeon. Um,
Yeah, yeah. The second dungeons don't usually happen as well. That's an extremely rare thing because when dungeons open, they run they have a device that they can run up to it, and it will tell them basically it grades the gate itself. So that's how they know what level these gates are opening at. So they know what level people they're capable of sending. Like it'll rank the gates just like it ranks the people as well. All the hunters are ranked because they need to be able to level that out. So if the gate opens like they went into, that was a low level gate. That should have been an easy, no problem, beat the boss, get out. That's how the readings would have shown up. They just showed up, I think it was a B gate, which is super easy because that's one, or not a B gate. It was it was a D. I don't know why I keep doing that. It was a D gate. It was a low end gate. Wasn't nothing special about it. They thought they were going to get in, get out, make a little quick cash, call it a day. And even the hunters thought the same thing because Jinu being there is always meant this is going to be an easy dungeon. The E rank
right,
hunters here. And then that's when they start getting into the whole he's the worst hunter and all that stuff. But then they get into this dungeon, and again, it's not normal for there to be a second dungeon because you can't catch those readings. And that's an extremely rare case. So them walking into that is mind-boggling in its own. The fact that they went further was even crazier because they're supposed to report that back.
Right.
Like,
But
that's
they needed the
insane.
money. They needed the money.
Yeah.
And then, once they enter there, then, which I have to back up, the pacing for the anime is amazing. And I just want to say, for those that have followed the books and you are ahead, um
Oh, no, that
it's
would
true.
be.
It's true to it. It's true to it. I don't have any complaints because I've actually read the books, and I love the pacing of it. I love the pacing of it. Um, and I think we had this discussion offline where, you weren't watching it when it was coming out weekly like I was, and so
Yeah.
you were just like, you didn't want to ruin it, and I was just like, it it didn't ruin it. Like, I already knew what was going to happen, and and I had seen the graphic novel of it and everything. But it was spot on. I, in some ways, I think it's even better. So
Well, my
I wasn't disappointed.
my big hang up with watching it at the time was I wanted to hear the dub voice actors. I just enjoy the dub voice. I
Right.
enjoy that. So it was really the scare factor for me. Like, after you told me that the animation was great, everything went great. I wasn't really super worried about the animation being bad or it being written or it being things being cut out, because like the difference between a manhwa and a manga is extremely easy to make an anime from, as compared
Right.
to a manga. They cut a lot of stuff out because it's much thicker, there's much more to it, it's much more detailed, and they do a lot more in that. With the manhwa, you basically just take it from the book and slap it onto film. It's
Yeah.
pretty much that simple. But what gave me the hang up on watching it for I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 episodes before I ever started watching it, was worried about the dub voice actor. But I heard Alex Lee one time play that voice, and I was like, no, perfect, absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
The
because I
dub
wasn't
voice
sold
actor
it.
killed it,
Yeah.
killed it. Alex Lee killed it,
Yeah.
amazing.
I wasn't sold at first when I remember before it came out, and we were looking at the cast, and then I remember you telling me, oh no, he's Jinshiro from Bleach, and I was just like, I don't see it. It's just one of those things I couldn't hear in my head. But then to actually go back, because I watched the sub first, just because I wanted to see everything and see it in motion and see what's going on. But I went back to watch the dub, and yeah, he killed it. He
Oh,
kills it. He,
absolutely
yeah,
amazing.
he blew it out of the water. I even like the way that he trolled fans on online. Like, he killed it. He killed it,
Oh,
and people just need to
the
pipe down.
online, the stuff about it online about his in them worrying about if he was going to do the Arise scene, which there wasn't a question. I did not even
Yeah.
hesitate to wonder if he could. After, what was it, episode 3, I think it was, he fought the serpent.
I
That's
want was that
that
3? It might have
scene.
been 4.
3 or 4, whichever one, the Japanese sub voice actor ended up hurting their throat to the extent of bleeding.
Yeah.
That scene that Alex Lee did that scene, and actually, I'm not positive. It may have. I don't remember if it was him or if it was the Japanese sub voice actor. Either one, they hurt their voice doing it, and
It's Japanese
the
sub
scene
actor.
itself was phenomenal. He killed that entire scene. That was one of the best voice acting screams in anime. It was just the emotion that he put into that was fucking great. So
Yeah.
to have any thought that he wasn't going to do the Arise correctly was silly. But I would have loved to have heard it and just randomly say erect or wakey wakey. That would have been hilarious, and I would have loved that. I really want to see the scene of him doing that instead, just for giggles, you know.
But they got it right. Um,
Uh,
and like I said, so the pacing's been amazing. So then, like we said, they go in and I don't know, it was just crazy just watching it, like actually reading it and seeing it in the book, and then like just actually seeing it on the screen and in motion, and them going in that dungeon, and it's just like they are getting slaughtered. Like it's just
Dude,
to see it in motion, it's just like wow. And then that's it was creepy in the book, but to just I think it was more
that
creepy in the book than it was the show with the statue smiling. I mean, still it was creepy, but
well, you used the light novel. For you, it was creepier to read what it was. Even seeing
yeah,
it in the actual illustration was still more creepy. Like that is just an insane picturing.
yeah,
They did such a good job with that making that statue look that menacing was really well done. And the anime killed that scene. And
yes,
just the scene of him having the realization of he's being the hero even though he knows he's not. That's really
right,
great. Like he that shows the character that he has as a normal person to care so adamantly about everyone else that he was willing to die for them. But then having the real thought that we all would have at that moment is, what the hell was I thinking? Why would I do this? I got people to go home to. Why would I let these people be more important than me? What was I thinking? That is the most real shit I've ever seen in an anime. That blew me away. Reading and seeing it, like that scene was pinnacle of voice acting for me. Like that was amazing.
I mean,
That
I think that's real life. I mean, I don't think you think about it in the moment. Um, in those type of situations, well, I mean, I thought you wouldn't have a dungeon type situation, but just life or death
yeah,
situations, I don't think you think about that until the end, where it's just, wait a minute,
you don't.
I don't want to die. Like, and it was just it. Like I said, it's just one of those things where it's hard because I've read ahead, but that humanizes them at the
It
beginning.
did,
You know what I'm
man.
saying?
It
It because
humanized it. It
because of what you
the
know, what he's gonna become, just even up to this point of what he's become so far in the first season, and just leveling up, and just how far he's come. Like that's just the human aspect, and it was just you don't you don't you don't get that all the time in a lot of
no.
animes, especially not today. You don't get that. So I appreciated that fact that they humanized him. Um, and it was just a real moment. Like that was just something that any old body could relate to. Like, yeah, I'm in this group, you know what I'm saying? And we've been to dungeons before, so we're kind of tight knit. Which by the way, he didn't sacrifice himself for everyone. Some of them dudes ran out early to
That's
save
true.
themselves.
That's true.
I
That's
think he
true.
really
If
only
they hadn't have
sacrificed
done
himself
that,
for two people.
but if they hadn't have done that, he wouldn't have had to make that decision.
That's
And
true.
it's already happened in the anime. They got their desserts for that one.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
saying. They got
I
what
don't
they
but
deserved.
I don't feel like
I mean, it was
I
fight or
don't feel
flight
like
for
they
them,
deserve
and
that.
they.
I feel like that's human nature. I feel like everybody's not a hero, man. I mean, that's just what
You're
it is.
right. You're right. But
There's nothing wrong with self-preservation.
the hunters look at themselves in such a high manner to run like that.
I don't think they do.
Uh,
I think people put them on a pedestal because of
I
the
guess
things
that's a
that
good
they
point.
do. You see what I'm
That's a
saying?
good point.
So I
Yeah.
don't necessarily say that they got what they deserve. I mean, I wasn't. I probably would have felt that way if I wouldn't have gotten the scene with one of the guys, with him holding his daughter and talking to his wife, and him saying that his daughter's about to
I
go to
mean,
kindergarten. I probably would have felt the same way that you felt. But I mean, at the end of the day, can you really fault anybody for wanting to save
no, and
themselves, knowing
that's
that
the
they have
great
a
part
family
about
to
the
go home to? So that's why I say I don't really
well,
say it's deserved. Um, I
I,
probably would have felt that way had you not given me the backstory, or had you not given me Had they not given me that scene of him holding his little girl and him talking to his wife while she's cooking in the kitchen, then yes, then I probably would have felt like, yeah, y'all are some cowards, you left. But at the end of the day, like I said, everybody's first instinct is self-preservation. Everybody's not a hero.
Well, that's probably one of my favorite things about the writing in Solo Leveling is it's so it's gonna grab the emotion. No matter how you felt about that character before, you're gonna feel different before they die, because he
Yes,
writes it so well that he's gonna make you feel for those people, because he humanizes every single one of them somehow. Even the dude that's at this point going to or on his way or trying to get to killing Jinu, it's because he loved his brother that adamantly that he's willing to cross lines that they're not supposed to cross. They even humanize someone that we don't even don't even have the opportunity to fully like yet, but they still make you understand why he's so mad. He found
right.
out that something happened to his brother and immediately assumes, well, I'm gonna go kill those guys because that just makes sense. I
But it was just
guess. I guess there's plenty of people out there that would have that type of thought process, and that's kind of scary, but it does exist. So
yeah,
it takes the human nature of all aspects of any fight or flight scenario, even in the situation of dealing with a loss of a family member. He immediately gets that mad. He's like, I'm just going to kill the people that survive because they had to have something to do with it. Well, they at least left him, or whatever his reasoning was. They give something to even the worst people that we don't even know why they're the worst people.
yeah. But it was
But
from left field. It was
you
definitely
get
from
mad at those two for running out, and they still come back and they rewrite and they write in something that makes you realize they were just trying to survive. And that's the same thing everyone else in that dungeon was trying to do. That's the same thing all these hunters are trying to do. And that's the big tie that he adds to everything, is he wants everyone to feel so adamantly and deeply for these characters every time you meet one. And that's really good for me because side characters need to be that important.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Because if you initially watch it, you just think that they're just some throwaway characters just to
Yeah,
move the story along. But then it comes
I
full
ain't seen
circle
one.
that he brings them back, you know what I'm saying, to an actual hunt, that same original group, and he brings them back. I thought that was dope because when you first see him run out, you just think, like I said, it's just something to move the story along. You don't think we're probably not going to see those guys again, but you end up seeing them again. I mean, it sucks that they end up getting killed, but you know what I'm saying? I think it would have been better for me if, okay, they could have still died, but I wanted them to see what Jinwoo could have done or what he was capable of at that point and then die,
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, it does suck, but I mean, in that instance, that's what I really love about this writing is it makes everything just grab you every time something happens. Your attention, your emotions are on edge the whole time. It is so cool how the writer is able to do that. That like you go into that room, you just be like, oh, Jinwoo's gonna snap this dude in half. Then you get in there and it's like he's slaughtered those guys, and it was not nice. It wasn't
No,
even a
he
little bit
tortured
of a
them.
I'll just end. Yeah, it wasn't an end this. That wasn't an assassin. That man was just in there killing for fun. He's just murdering people. He loved it, and he made it extremely obvious. And it makes you it demonizes him and rehumanizes these people that we already didn't like for a minute. And then you start feeling again, and you're sad because that happened. Then you realize that then Janu gets sad, and you're just like, man, it just wraps you emotionally into every single moment of it. It is
Yeah, because
it's an amazing write.
before before one of them died, he was like, I came to the decision that, hey, we make it through this dungeon. Once we're out of this, I'm gonna apologize for leaving them. And then he dies. He doesn't even get to give that apology. I believe the other guy that died, he apologized before they went in. But that was the guy, the one that, made the decision in the dungeon, hey, once we leave, I'm gonna apologize. That's the one with the family that they show right before they even hit the dungeon. So yeah, the pacing's great. Some of them hits you in your feels, and I don't like I love the way that they're not just throwing away characters, because like I said, when you see them initially, you think they're just people that are moving along and they're just insignificant, but it comes full circle. They end up dying, but you end up you end up understanding them before they die.
Yeah. Well, that's the
Um,
great part is he gives you just a quick little background of everybody, even though you thought they weren't important. He's like, no, I even gave them a background. Let me give you
right.
this, and that type of world building for me is great. That's one of the main reasons I'm a One Piece fan, because every character that they make vivid to you, they give something to them. It may not happen then, it may not happen, it may happen seasons from that point, but they give meaning to almost everyone. And this guy is giving every meaning to I every character has something that makes it grabs you, and it's like, wow, that was really sad. Wow, that was really cool. Wow, that's a pretty nice guy. Like it's I'm blown away by the character creation and designs and the pacing of which they add everything in for you. It's great. It's just
Yeah,
phenomenally
yeah,
written.
it is. So, it's just dope. Just to back up, because we kind of we kind of jumped ahead. Um, so yeah, they do the side dungeon. Um, he wakes up in the hospital, comes, there's a system. He's the only one that can see this system. It's kind of like a real world isekai. Uh, he's the only one that sees the system. He has to do daily challenges and stuff to get stronger. Or, as he starts to do them, then he starts to notice the difference in his appearance, his physical strength. Um, and he gets just like he's walking around playing a big old video game. So he gets rewards for doing these quests. He can improve his stats. Uh, hence the title solo leveling, because he's the only one that can do that. He's the only one, because even with the second awakening, your stats go up, but you still can't raise your stat. What you are is what you are. You're pretty much that's the way the world is built. You're set wherever you are. So if you're in A level, then you're in A level. Now, if you happen to go into a dungeon and you have a second awakening and you become an S, well, that's fine, but you're still S. You obviously, like, you can't be and just because you're an S doesn't make you a national level. But you're pretty much set in stone. You cannot improve. Wherever you are, that's where you are. But that's the difference with Jinwoo. He is steadily improving. He's going into he's getting items. It's like I said, he's just a big video game for him. He's getting items to go to secret dungeons, I guess, if you will. Dungeons that don't show up for everybody else, that are specifically for him to level up. Um, and so
They're basically the gates that open in the world around them, the ones that open up in Korea, though, or technically all of the world, they are opening up everywhere. There are hunters in every country, but in the ones that are opening up are them entering into or trying to enter into the normal world or our world.
right,
Whereas the gates that he's opening, he's stepping into their world. He's breaking the front door down. Like he's not waiting for them to decide when they want to jump in and try to come into this world. He's going into theirs. That's
right.
He's just kicking doors down is what he's doing.
And he's going in there. He's fight beasts and he's leveling up. He's getting items. And so I think he does that about 2 or 3 times before we get to the end of the season. Yeah, he does about 2 or 3 times. I think he really levels up when I think he really jumps levels when he kills the first group of humans. When they tried to trap him in there with the spider and tried to leave him for dead, and then go in there and collect the crystals afterwards. I think his level jumped significantly then. And then obviously when the original group meets back up, and I think that guy was what? That guy was a B level?
The assassin?
Yeah.
Yes, the assassin was a B level. He had 3 C levels with him that were prisoners. And then the group of them, which stood of the healer, which was a B level, a couple C levels, I think, and maybe a D or two, and then him, which was to this point an E level. He may not be after the system took over, but to them, their ranking system, he's still considered an E level. Yeah. Which is why he's still having to go into gates with these people.
Right. And both of those fights were amazing. It's just like, it was just like both times he was on the ropes. He got lucky in that first fight. I don't care what anybody says. He got lucky in that first fight. When they tried to trap him. Because he had, and I didn't notice it until I went to go watch it the second time around, where he had just finished his daily quest. He was pulling a screen up. As he was pulling a screen up, and it was asking him what he wanted for a reward, because I think he had 3 choices. Then they walk up to him, and then they get ready to go in there. So then they go in the gate, and then, you know, then they end up betraying him. He ends up defeating the spider, but then they come in there, and I want to say the sorcerer was a A ranked. The brother that died was a B rank. No, they were both B ranks.
No, they were
both
B rank. Yeah, they were both B rank, and I think the others were 3 C's.
Yes. And they had him on the ropes, knocks him to the wall, and then he gets where it restores everything, and then he just cuts everybody down.
The thing is they only had him up against the wall because he didn't want them to know what he was capable of. Yes, he killed the boss, but that was the point. He didn't want them to know that. Now he's just measuring what they can do. Because after beating that boss was I think that was a B gate. No, it was a C gate. Yeah, it was a C gate. So him beating that boss immediately puts him at a C rank. That's just how the leveling system works. He keeps leveling up, and that one was orange at the time, which means it was even to his level. So it wasn't much for him to handle. Yeah. White is under his level. Then you end up with the orange, which is equal to, and red, which is everything higher.
Right.
So the orange, it was orange, so he was technically at the level of that gate, which means he was a C level. That was at minimum. He could have been like a low end B right up to the high C. I don't know. We don't, because they don't really have like a C, a bottom C and a top C. You're just C.
Right.
So that gate was technically a C level gate, I'm pretty sure. And that boss was at his level. So after the Cerberus, because he had already beat Cerberus at that point. He'd already gone into the Demon's Gate. But he fought Cerberus, and then he's like, it's not going to do that right now. So he turned around. Cerberus was a C rank, I'm pretty sure.
But the difference is, though, you're fighting monsters as opposed to
humans, which have a much more.
Well, those monsters, they're mindless as opposed to fighting a human.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so,
exactly.
A C rank monster and a C rank human, it's totally different, because I have strategy, I have tactics. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have skills. I can put these skills to use, whereas a monster, you're instinctively using. You know what I'm saying? So it's different. So maybe I think maybe that's why he was hesitant. And then he's not a killer.
He was also hesitant. Yeah, he hadn't killed anybody at that point. He's never killed a human. That was something new to him, and he didn't want to do that. Like, that's not something that he was wanting to have to do. But when the system tells you to do something, that's the end. And the system said, you have to kill these opponents. They're trying to kill you. And he's like, well, the system has decided. And that was the end of that fight. It was just Smoke City from that point.
Because then the second fight, the second fight was funny to me, because it was like, to me, I felt like he was waiting for the system to tell him it's time for you to kill now. He was waiting for it. He was waiting for
like,
it.
I don't want to kill you, but I do want to kill you, but I don't.
Yeah. Oh, and then it pops up.
But never mind.
System says, I got to put you down.
Yeah,
So
he's ready
he
now.
wasn't waiting for that second one.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Still a grill. I mean, it was a really good fight though.
Oh no, no,
Then
it's amazing fight scenes, even with the monsters. They, like I said, I think they're doing an amazing job. The only thing that I wish maybe we would have gotten 4 more episodes, or because we talked about it offline, and like I said, can't really give
well,
too
where
much
they're
without
picking up,
spoiling.
where they're gonna pick up, I can tell where they're gonna end seasons at. This
Right.
season, the next season's gonna be about a specific area that he goes into. After that area, then that's when they go to another area. And you can kind of understand what I'm saying with that, without spoiling anything after this point. So I get why they're breaking it up, where they're breaking it up. Just kind of sucks, but
It
it's
does. It
fine.
does.
It was a
I mean,
decent spot to stop if you look at the story. It's a good spot because you can section off that
told you
part
that.
to the yeah. So, but it's still
I
they
know. I
probably
know.
could have done a few more because I don't know, but it's a good spot to end. I mean, it makes sense.
No,
But
no, no.
yeah,
Most
a few
definitely.
more
Like I said,
episodes would have been really nice.
pacing is amazing. It's just, yeah, I wish I would have got 3 or 4 more episodes. Um, hopefully they stick to uh when the next part's supposed to come out, which is, I do believe you told me, was October of this year.
Let me double check, but I am pretty sure it's definitely later this year.
So I mean, I'm definitely hyped about that. Especially if we get it returning back at the end of the year. Um, especially around that time, because those are usually fall releases. And fall releases are usually kind of slow. Um, it's just like, it just seems like the industry starts to wind down, to reset for the new year, to bring out the big guns at the beginning of the year. So the fact that we're getting it, if we get it around that time, then that'll be good. That'll be something to look forward to, and definitely something to watch.
Well, at this moment, it says late 2024. They did have a date, but I'm not seeing an exact month at the moment.
I like I said, I think the last time I remember seeing or hearing anything about it, I heard October. I could be wrong,
Yeah, it was something like that. It says late 2024, but it's supposed to be even later this year.
but we do get 6 seasons, so I am excited about that. Um,
Yeah.
I and what I don't want is, I don't want it to overstay its welcome. Like, I feel like 6 seasons is enough. Don't deviate from the source material. The source material as is amazing. You get what you get. You know, if you want to do a spinoff, then I'm all for it. I just don't want them to. I don't want them to Naruto it.
Yeah,
I'm
no
not
joke.
just call it
I don't
what it
need
is.
that.
I don't
I don't
want
need
that.
that.
Don't ruin it. It's amazing so
No.
far. You know, if it's just six
I
seasons, it's
mean,
6 seasons. Don't make it be a money grab, because if it
yeah.
goes on
I
any
mean,
longer
if
than
they
that,
had
that's what
a
it is.
filler season, that's as long. I guess
No,
it really depends on how they execute that.
I don't want a filler season.
I
Maybe
don't
you could,
either, but
maybe a movie. I give you that.
that would be great. That would be
You can
great.
give me a
Have a
movie,
good
but I
movie.
don't want any fillers. I'd rather just take the break. Which I seen something interesting. I was scrolling, I think it was on Instagram, and they were saying something about they were talking about Demon Slayer, and they were talking about all the studios that do it, and how it was a big old budget to make it, and the animation style or whatever, and that the studio wasn't expecting it to be a hit like it is. And so because of it, then it created a demand, and these studios can't keep up with it. Can't keep up with the demand of what people are asking for, because it's just like with anything. Once you set the bar and you set that standard, that's what people want from here on out. You know what I'm saying? But everybody can't afford that type of budget. You know what I'm saying? So it,
Yeah.
it it kind of sucks for the industry because that's where the bar is, and you get there's a lot of stuff under that bar that has amazing storytelling. It's just they don't have the big budget for the animation, and sometimes you don't need all that to tell a story. Um, but I don't foresee solo leveling having that problem. Um, I believe the studio is A1 is the studio that's actually doing the animation. So I don't think they really have a full plate. I think they'll actually be able to give it all the love that it deserves. Um, and Jinwoo is shaping up right now potentially to be the strongest anime main character in
I
existence.
mean, he's definitely they keep him on the right track. I'm not. I mean, I'm not saying anything to be mean, but Shenmue
Yes, you are.
definitely solos Goku.
Yeah, you're saying that to be me.
Eh, he's still Shenmue solos Goku.
I,
It's
I
facts.
mean, where we are at this point, no. But if you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if
If
you
you
know,
know,
you
you know.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, nah. You know, you probably can't see it, but I think he's that guy. He's him.
Definitely.
So we're gonna wrap this episode up, and I'm not sure. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Not sure what it is that we're gonna be doing the next episode. We'll get offline and we'll come up with something to entertain you guys. Um, just if you're watching, thanks for the support. Uh, share, share. Um, like I said, we don't do it for the likes. You know, we just do it to connect to the community. Um, to get our voices heard. Um, to get our voices out there that to people that maybe have the same opinion as we do. So you know, I guess I don't want to be all corny and sappy or inspirational, but it's never too late. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, kind of started on later on in life, and um, there's a ton of other people that you guys could be watching. But if you're watching us, thank you. Um, you know, we're gonna continue to make it. It's until it's not fun for us. We're not doing it for likes. We're not doing it to get big. We're doing it. This is what we do. You know, this is what we do in real life. We sit here, we bounce off each other, we talk about this stuff. We live, we breathe, we eat it. Uh, so, like I said, like, comment, share. If you have any suggestions for us, we're definitely opening the input to improving our streams or our content. Or if you guys have any ideas, we're definitely open to discussing anything it is that the community wants to discuss. Um, so just share, just pass it around. Um, Jonathan, you got anything?
No, I mean that sounds pretty good. Just yeah, I just want to remind everybody, Jinnu still solos Goku. Let's keep that in mind.